on Money 105.5.
Good morning, Sacramento.
Yes, sirree. It's a beautiful morning. I love it. If you're listening to this broadcast in the morning, AM, PM, afternoon, whatever, welcome. Welcome to In the Now.
Yeah, and thank you for all the people on social media. It looks like we got a good little crowd building up this morning. Thank you.
Yes, yes. So how was your week?
My week has been pretty fast.
It went by quick.
It's already Thursday.
What's up with that?
It feels like it's like Tuesday.
Yeah, it's been a great week. A lot of productive things got done, and I was excited to come to this show today. Some really good
Yeah, it feels
guests.
like summer is just breezing by. August is right around the corner. We need to slow it down a little bit.
Telling you, what's up with that?
Try to get more things out and about. It's getting so warm right now. Good drive up?
Yep, it was easy drive, and with school out, there's less traffic, and so it was an easy and beautiful drive. And I was listening to my University on Wheels all the way up.
What were you listening to today?
So today I was listening to actually Be in the Now, the book. Can't remember the guy's name. It's a hard name, but it's about being present, right? And so I was listening to that on the way up, and it was some really good stuff. I was just getting into the great stuff, right? So it's getting into the meat.
So the drive home is going to be great.
Yep. Pick up some wisdom on the way home. Not only wisdom from the show, ready to take a lot of notes, but also wisdom on the way home,
Yeah, if you guys notice from the format that we've been doing, I mean, we consider ourselves to be very talented in what we do. We love doing marketing. We love these steps that we take forward in businesses and helping businesses and the mentorships and the courses that we teach. But we bring guests on that not only inspire our listeners, they also inspire us. Because there's always that saying, knowledge is the stuff that you know that you learned how to leverage by using it in a format that works for your business. So having knowledge is one thing, but knowing how to leverage it is what the word really comes down to. So when we bring these guests on there, we're hoping that you're getting these little tidbits. We know you're getting these little tidbits that are going to launch your business into a new direction, because 1 little % of change can change everything in your business. 1 little mindset shift can make you grow faster than actually working hard on a 9 to 5. So looking at all that, it's very important that you learn these strategies and that you take as much notes as we're taking.
Yeah, I mean, I actually look forward to this week because we bring on guests that we can learn from.
Yeah.
Right. And there's been several shows that I've gotten so much gold nuggets from, and we continue to do that. And I look forward to it. So, it's almost like we do the show just for our educational purpose, but, we're able to broadcast this to the world. And
we're cheating a little bit. We're growing from this a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And today's topic, there's these selling strategies, right? And a lot of companies and salespeople out there have different strategies and techniques and things, and it's ABC, always be closing, and there's all these things out there. And I ran into a gentleman at an event recently, our guest today, him and his partner, and we started talking about NLP, and I know you're a big proponent of NLP, which is neurolinguistics programming, right? And so we got into conversation, and so he was telling me how it's used in sales, in a sales process, and I thought, man, that would be amazing to learn, and kind of working, because I know that a lot of language patterns are used in sales, and especially online in today's world, through webinars and things of that nature. These techniques are used quite a bit. So I'm excited to take a ton of notes this morning.
Yeah, everything's changed. Like if you look at what we talk about a lot, we say get on the digital world, because that's where the whole entire shift is going. Marketing, everything. If you look at some of these old school sales techniques, they're outdated, okay? They work. They've been proven to work year after year. Trainer after trainer, expert after expert has taught you these ways of training. But it's really hard. It's really exhausting. I remember being those old telemarketers on the phone selling all day long. Mm-hmm. When you actually look at the science and the ecology behind neuroscience, you know that it's just asking the right questions. As simple as, so what would you like? What would you want? What would having that do for you? Those little simple questions trigger the subconscious mind to think what I really want. Because Mike always says there's always a necessity, and when you're buying to speed something up, or you're buying the person.
Yeah, you speed up the process, eliminate pain, or create pleasure. Those are the buying habits known in. If you can solve any of those issues, then it's about, do they buy you?
So now let's think about your staff. And any of you guys who are out there in real estate right now, this is going to be great for you because they actually teach a course, our guest does, around the neuroscience of selling in real estate. So there's things that you can look at and find out that it takes the exhaustion out of the sales process when you can truly just have a great conversation with someone and give them what they want in the end, because sales comes down to leads and fulfillment, right? Somebody has a service that they need and you need to fulfill it. When you find those, your closing ratio is going to be a lot better when you're actually asking the right questions to get the positioning that you need for that person and you to work together. And that's what I love about neuroscience.
Well, and even starting before that, like we've always talked about this, there's two things that can go wrong in marketing. Having as you say, right, Brandon says all the time, you have the right message to the wrong people, or you have the wrong message to the right people. So it starts, when you think about your sales process, it starts from the time of contact, the what they see, how they see. And a lot of this languaging in sales also applies in that then leads to the lead, acquiring a lead, and then through the process of converting the lead and then selling them on what they need, right? And making sure that you're a good fit for them and they're a good fit for you.
Yeah,
so
discovering the match.
Yeah, so I love, what we're, learning is regards to the NLP. I know you've spent, the last 5 years going through courses and learning this with dealing with the mind.
Yeah, full-blown boot camps. It was fun. I mean, some of the stuff that you learn and the things that you find that are messed up about yourself. I became like an NLP junkie, trying to figure out, okay, well, why do I do that? What triggers me here? A lot of it bases around the ecology. When the ecology feels comfortable, the critter mind calms down. But if there's ecology blocking you from change, you have to find out what that ecology is and why it's there. These are patterns that were developed when we were very young. And most of the times it's happening between infancy to 5 years old, you get set in. The one thing they always warned me when I started NLP is if you're a parent, you're guaranteed to screw up your kids in some way, shape, or form. So just deal with it and do the best you can, and then the ecology will work itself out. But when you're in these sales processes, you have to know, like if you look at our Facebook page, it says right on there, what do you want? Because once you understand what you want, the subconscious mind will start trying to find ways of bringing that to life for you. Mm-hmm. So asking the right questions and positioning yourself as a service, not just a sales, and having that fulfillment there is going to help you grow tremendously for all your teams. If you have a sales team, you definitely want them to learn these types of processes for buying and selling strategies that are going to help them have better conversations with their customers, no matter what.
Yeah, so we're going to be going to break here at Money Talk 105.5 here in the Now with Mike Driggers and Brandon Heights. And when we get back, we have two special guests, Kaya Redford and Veronica Larrera, and they're the masters in NLP buying and selling strategies. So we'll see you when we get back. Bye for now. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back. We are live in the studios, and we're also live on Zoom. And I got a lot of really good things here. Hold on, I'm working with technology here. It's like multitasking.
Mike's number one thing, technology.
Yeah, loving it.
So as you guys are out there on social media, so not only are we streaming this on social media, our guests are live on the Zoom app right now, and we're having a face-to-face conversation here in the studio. So we're taking it up one more notch in digital technology here.
Yeah, trying new things. We gotta love it, right? So today, our special guest, as we mentioned earlier in the show, is that we're always bringing on folks where we can learn, but also our audience. We're constantly striving to feed our mind, and this topic, I just thought, wow, it's perfect. You're in line with it because you've been doing NLP, and I said, let's get them on. Let's get these two guests. When we have so just real quick, so let me start with Kaya Redford. Kaya Redford's a success coach. He's consulted with Fortune 500 companies from Bank of America to Wells Fargo, Century 21, Keller Williams, Remax. But he's dealt with focusing on mindset and communication and emotion and intelligence and behavior as well, right? And then Veronica Larrea, she's been a top producer in the real estate, #1 real estate in Century 21, #1. She's #1. She's rocked it. She's a master in NLP. Both of them rock it. And today's show is about buying and selling strategies and how NLP works in this process. So let's welcome them to the show. Veronica and Kaya, welcome. Oh, we don't hear him.
We have to have you on the voice call. Are you on the phone too? The call-in number that you called in on?
There you go.
There we
go.
Welcome aboard.
We had it on mute. How you guys doing?
We're doing great, man. Good to have you guys on.
We are so excited, Brandon and Mike, just hearing you guys talk about NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. I understand, Brandon, that you're a master. That's awesome. And Mike is also definitely picked up a lot of this stuff. So we're excited to be on your show. I know Veronica is super excited to be here with me as well.
Well, good morning, gentlemen. It's a pleasure to meet you right now in the radio. And shout out to all the Facebook fans out there.
Yeah.
It's going to be an amazing training, quick training on this amazing radio station.
Yeah, it's amazing because now we're taking another level of technology, and so not only are we zooming, we've got live stream, we've got recordings going on,
We
and
got video, we've got Facebook Live, and we were going for it.
we got broadcasts. We're like everywhere.
As we're going live here on Zoom, I hear you through the phone. Is there a way you could turn on your audio on the computer that's in the Zoom so we see your faces, but could we turn on the audio? On the
Yes.
computer.
Hold on, I'll do it right now.
Well, the audio, they're right there. Okay.
There you go.
All right.
Oh, perfect. There you go.
So we're broadcasting all over Sacramento, down to Fairfield, up to Tahoe and Modesto, and so everybody's listening. So let's go ahead and rock this.
Yes, we're excited.
So tell us a little about what NLP.
Why are we getting a feedback though?
I think it's coming through their Zoom because they're on a speakerphone.
Ah, ooh.
So
Mike is double. So my background in NLP is basically we've lost your guys' sound. Knowing that the questions are more important than the sales tactics.
Yes.
So
Yes.
why is
You hear
NLP
it
so
now?
important in your kind of sales process?
Well, the first question is, what is NLP? And everybody can hear us well, correct?
yeah.
Okay, so what is NLP? So NLP is the study of human excellence. Most of us have heard of Ronald Reagan, considered the great communicator. We've heard of Oprah Winfrey, Richard Branson. We've heard of a lot of Tony Robbins. A lot of the great people that have achieved great things in this world are masters in NLP. So NLP is the study of human excellence. And what it is neuro-linguistic programming. Neuro has to do with how we think. Linguistic language has to do with how we communicate, and we're going to spend some time talking about that today. And then programming is how we behave and our emotions. And what NLP really illuminates is that when how we think, our mindset, is on the right track, our communication is influential. It speaks about solutions and what we want instead of what we don't want, right? And when our behavior is in alignment with what we say, like we say we're going to do something and our behavior actually does that. We call that walk our talk. We have power, we have influence. And what NLP also illuminates is that when we don't have that, we have a mindset that's worried, doubtful, fearful, or we have language where, we train a lot of real estate agents and actually one of our students, Marty Rodriguez, is the #1 agent in the history of Century 21 system for 30 years. She's made nothing less than $2.5 to $3 million a year. And she talks on stage about the fact that what's missing in real estate, financial services, network marketing, or in any business is the simple skill set of language. It's not taught in school. We go to school and we learn Shakespeare, but how is Shakespearean language going to help us to be influential in our lives? So when our language is not to the best of its ability, or when our behavior is not the best of its ability, we lack power, we lack influence. So NLP is neuro, mindset, language, behavior. It's aligning all those three, and it's giving you skill sets and tool sets in each one.
Absolutely. It takes the guessing out of it too. So instead of trying to be a salesman all the time, you can literally just ask the right questions.
Yeah, and I know Veronica, she's been door knocking in her career, and she used to spend 15 minutes per door, and then she cut it down to 3 minutes. So share a little bit about how NLP has been powerful in the context of sales, the language part.
Exactly. So one of the things that I love about NLP is the effective communication, the skill set by asking the right questions. So instead of spending 45 minutes talking about the birds and the bees, trying to build rapport, talk about the brand, talk about yourself, talk about the market, talk about anything that is not relevant to the needs, wants, and criteria of the client. So NLP gives exactly that, what questions to ask that elicits everything that the client is actually looking for. So in reality, as professionals, whether you're in the lending industry, real estate industry, and the financial services, there's the client that needs a service, and then the service. And us, which is the middle person, we just have to get in the way of that transaction. And the way that we get in the way is by prospecting every day and using the communication tools that we teach in the academy.
And one of the powerful tools, and by the way, Brandon, I was loving everything you were sharing about what do you want, asking the right questions. We always say that, let's say that this is us, right? The salesperson, and let's say this is the client. Instead of us trying to push and push and push and push the client to take action, all we have to do is ask the client the right questions that get the client leaning in and talking themselves into doing business with us. So really it's evoking, inspiring, instead of bossing and telling. There are questions that get the client talking themselves into doing business with you.
Absolutely, and the more from a sales perspective that you learn this, the less talking you have to do.
Exactly.
20% talking, 80% listening. One of the most important things you can ever ask anybody is, what is your vision?
Yeah.
Because, and it's almost like, what is your why? When you ask someone what their vision and what their why is, usually you're tapping into something much deeper than just money or just the immediate thing. I want a nice car, I want a nice house. What's your vision? What's your why? It turns into more about family, more about their legacy. And sometimes you can actually even get a person to a point of tears where they're talking about their vision. It's not what the home is, it's what the home is going to give them. It's that community, it's that family, it's the barbecues with the grandkids. It's that experience that they're going to have in the home. And when you evoke that by asking the right question, what's your vision? What's your why? Why is this? One of the most important questions you could ever ask anybody is, why is this the most important thing to you? Or what is the most important thing to you? The most important thing to a person is tapping into their values. And the value is something that's most important to a person. And when you evoke that and you get them to talk about what they value the most, you could know nothing about sales. You could know none of the right words to use. But just in them talking about what they value the most, they're already talking themselves into doing business with you.
Absolutely, and you're also going to find them the right house.
Yeah.
So by that whole thing, you're not showing 20 houses. You say, I know exactly what you said. You give them the keyword backtrack and tell them, I heard what you said, and this is the house that I want to show you. And it's going to cut out all the process.
Yeah, it eliminates time, right? It compresses and explodes.
So I'm a firm believer. I spent years doing this because I wanted to understand all the way from one of our ice cream sandwich shops. We ask them when they come in, like, not how was your day, what's been the best part of your day so far? And then we'll ask them, what kind of experience would you like today? And it invokes a whole other conversation, which gives you exactly the recipe you need to make what they want. So you ask your clients what you want, and you give it to them.
Yeah.
That's simple sales.
Yeah. And that's actually not even sales. I mean, it's sales, but here's the thing. And I don't know if this relates to a few people listening in today. We're here on Facebook Live. We're here in Sacramento on 95.5, I believe.
105.5 Money.
105.5 Money Talk.
105.5 FM. And some people have a misunderstanding of sales. Sales is actually service.
Mm-hmm.
Sales is actually loving another person and helping them get what they want. It really is, it's like you're taking care of your brother or your sister. You're helping them get what they want. And everything is sales. When we get our kids to wake up in the morning and brush their teeth, when we convince them that getting better grades in school, they're going to, have a better life. We're selling our children on, being motivated, getting good grades. Like everything is about influence. And the most important person we need to influence is who?
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to sell yourself.
Us.
You do.
On that you are a rock star, that you can be a top producer, that you can live a life of abundance, that you're selling yourself, your own subconscious mind. The conscious mind, the thinking mind is our goal setter. Our thinking mind is our goal setter. And then we have this other thing called the feeling mind, which is the unconscious mind, which Brandon talked about it as being subconscious mind, is the goal achiever. And so it's setting to our goal achiever inside, the part of us that's the engine that's running our life, that we can do this. Having that conversation with ourselves that says we can do this. But I know that we want to talk about sales specifically today. So
we're going to go to a break real quick, but when we come back, I want you guys to actually let me know what tools you can share with our audience that will help them increase their sales and closing ratios. So when we come back from the break, we'll be right on that on Money 105.5.
In the Now with Mike Driggers and Brandon Hines. Welcome back to In the Now with Mike Driggers and Brandon Hines, and we are live with Veronica Larrera and Kaya Redford, the masters in NLP with buying and selling strategies. We've been getting into it, and now we're getting into the detail, the meat, with the kind of talking. One thing there was a research that's done. We were talking about everything selling, everybody sells. Doesn't matter, right? You may not like the word, but you sell every day. You sold your spouse, you sold to get your job, you're selling. And there was a study done that if we were to stop selling for one day, just one day, it would take us 6 months to get back on track. As a world, we'd have to get back on track. It'd take us 6 months at minimum to get everything back on track. That's crazy. So anyway, welcome to the call. So let's get into this, some tools. Like, what are some things our audience can use to go out there and, take advantage of some of these techniques that you're going to teach here?
Yeah, you know what? There's so many tools. We actually have a 2-day program. It's 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. Saturday and 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. on Sunday, where we share about 30 tools. In looking for what would be, some simple tools that we can talk about and share, ultimately we kind of usually start with knowing how the other person processes the world. There are certain people that are highly visual. There are certain people that are highly auditory, right? They like to hear the deal. There are certain people that are highly kinesthetic, feeling-based. They like to get a hold of, get a grasp, get a feel, get a touch of it. And there are certain people that in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, we call it auditory digital, or think of it as analyzer. They like to process the information, and they like to know the information, the steps and procedures. So I just want to introduce that as a first thing that we ought to know is who are you speaking to and how do they process the world? And what are the key words that you use to speak into their listening? Now, that takes a couple hours to go over, and we do that in our 2-day training. But I wanted to introduce that to you. And then, just like Brandon was talking about, you've got the embedded commands, the language, the right questions. So we go over scripts and all the questions in our 2-day training as well. But today, let's skip those two things because those take a little longer. And to really uncover and unpack. And I want to share, Veronica and I, with you guys, what we really wanted to talk about today is buying and selling strategies.
Okay.
Now, this is fantastic. Where does this come from? This comes from studying the car industry for over 75 years. In 75 years of studying the car industry, we've noticed patterns in how people buy cars. And we notice they have the same patterns on how they buy clothes, how they buy a house, how they decide to choose, or how they buy an insurance policy, how they make any decisions. We've discovered these patterns. And there's like three phases to this. The first phase of a buying strategy or selling strategy, this also applies if someone is selling. So in other words, if you are a salesperson and you're working with a buyer or a seller, both of them have a strategy on how they buy or how they sell, like someone who's selling their house. And by you knowing their buying and selling strategies, you're able to speak to it in a way where you're able to influence them to say yes. The most important thing as we go into the subject is that ecology. Very first thing is ecology. We never do anything that does not serve the client. We always serve the client. We're there from love, from support to help the client get what they want. It's got to be good for the client. It's got to be good for their family. It's got to be good for the community. It's got to be good for the world at large. Because what we're about to share with you is some very powerful stuff that you could essentially get someone to do something that they weren't planning to do. And we never do that. We call this ecology. And the law of karma is always watching. And when you do good for others, that word spreads. And when you manipulate or do something that's negative to just for a commission, then you hurt people, then those people tell people, and law of karma.
Very short-lived. Very short-lived.
Very short-lived. So we want to share with you, what we're sharing with you is done in a space of service and love. So back to the strategies. When people are going to make a decision to sell their house or to buy a house or to buy anything, they follow a pattern every single time that they're not even aware of. It's a habitual pattern. I spoke on stage with Eric Swanson at Habitude Warrior, and he wanted me to share sales techniques and habits. And I said sales techniques and strategies are actually habits. People follow a specific habitual pattern every single time they decide to buy or sell. So there's three phases. The first phase is the motivation phase, how someone's getting motivated to buy. The second phase is the decision phase. They're in the dealership. They're in your office. They're right there, right in front of the deal, and how they actually decide to sign the contract, cut a check, write you a check. And then there's the third phase, the last phase, which is the reassurance phase, which if you're like me or like some people I know, I don't know that this handkerchief even matches this and this unless I ask Veronica or I ask someone. How am I reassured that I don't have colors that are all off? I'm reassured because I ask, hey, does this match? So everybody has also reassurance strategy. It could be that you went online, you bought a car, and then you saw the APR of the car advertised online, and your interest rate was better than what was on the TV ad, and you're reassured you got a good deal. So there's three phases: the motivation phase, the decision phase, and the reassurance phase. What phase do you think we're going to spend our time focused on?
The reassurance?
The decision phase.
Oh.
That's where people are taking action. So decision phase. So what we discovered is that how I talked about there are people that are visual, there are people that are auditory, there are people that are kinesthetic, feeling-based, and analytical. They follow those modalities, the visual I see, the auditory I hear, the kinesthetic I feel, the auditory digital, I think they follow those modalities in their strategy to buy or sell. So what you've got to do, and we go over this in our program, is you ask questions. The first question you would ask is, can you remember a time when you bought something you really liked? And they go, sure. Yeah, I can remember a time like that. And the second question asked is, are you happy with your purchase? And they say, yeah, I'm wearing the shoes right now. I'm in love with the car. I'm happy with the house. And then you ask them, were you alone when you made that purchase? And they say, yeah, I was the decision maker. So now you know that they're ready to share their strategy. So then what you do is you ask them, when you bought that house, that car, those pair of shoes, what was the first thing that happened? Is it something you saw? Is it something you heard? Did you just get a feeling? Or what was it? And usually they'll say to you, well, I walked in a store. Women do this all the time. We talk about, oh, you got these beautiful earrings here. This happens all the time. I said, Veronica has these beautiful earrings here. And we go, oh, my God, these beautiful earrings. Where'd you get them from? Oh, I got them from Nordstrom or Neiman Marcus. Oh, so, when you went in the store and you bought those, like, what happened? Well, she'll say, I saw them. And then she'll say, I put them on, or I just looked at them. I looked at the price, perhaps, and I bought them. There are certain people that will see it, will try it on, test drive the car, and then buy it. There are certain people that won't. They'll just see it. They won't even look at the price, and they'll buy it. And there are certain people that will see it, look at the price, and still not buy it. They'll ask someone else, what does it look like on me, and get an external convincer from someone else that it looks good, and then they'll buy it. And so there's so many different variations, and what we've got to do is we've got to find out what their buying and selling strategy is by the questions I'm asking. Another component that's important is convincers. Now, what does this mean? How many of us, Brandon and Mike, how many of you, and Veronica, how many of us, when you see something, you like it, you don't need to compare it to anything, you buy it? It's like you see it once and you buy it.
That's me.
Well, how many of us know people like me, and a lot, 30, probably 60% of the population as well, where even if you see something you want, you never buy it as the first thing because you need to compare it to 2 or 3 other things. Right? In the car industry, if you know a little bit about Grant Cardone and his program, they train people to give 3 options, right? Always 3 options to a buyer, because a low one, a medium one, and a high one, because they know that the most common convincer on the planet is 3, meaning the people want to look at 3 options more often than someone like Veronica, who only wants to see 1 option. So knowing that Veronica wants to see 1 option, if you give her 3 options, she's just going to say to you what?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I'll walk away.
Yeah, confused mind says no, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I won't buy. It's like too much, too confusing. I walk away.
I've seen her do this. She's like, dude, just give me the best thing.
Yeah.
Like, the internet or the insurance for the car.
It's interesting because even out there, they're not trained. So, and I'm being gracious enough to say, I'm here to buy the best laptop. Give me the best laptop, the one that is the fastest, the one that plays the videos the fastest. I'm giving them every criteria up front. And then the sales rep sometimes, because, okay, so we have this one, and then this one, and this one. I'm like, no. You select the one laptop. That's all I want to see. The best. I don't care about the price. Just give me the best.
Yeah.
And I walk away.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have a hard time doing that, though,
Compared to the other one. And sometimes for, the type of strategy that I have, it doesn't work. It's too much. And I give you everything that I needed. So then I get a little bit discouraged, and I go, you know what, never mind. And I'll just walk away.
Yeah.
But if you give me what I want on the spot, it's a swipe on the spot. That happens to me with cars, with shoes, with dress, with anything, because I have a convincer of 1. But not everybody has that convincer. I mean, we wish that everybody would just buy on the spot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most people have, like Kaya said, 3 convincers, which means they have to compare to other 3 different things. Now, how do we do it in the real estate industry when, sometimes we have a client that wants a specific house in a specific neighborhood, and there's no listings available except for 1. And if that property matches that criteria, the way we do it with NLP is fantastic. They get to see it, right? They get to try it on. They get to come in, take a look at the room. How do we do it for 3 times? It's very easy. I want to give you the golden nugget on this one for real estate and also for lending.
All right, well, hold on 1 second. My producer's saying we got to go to commercial. So hold that gold nugget till after the commercial, and we'll come right back to that.
Mike Driggers and Brandon Heinz on In the Now with Money Talk 105.5. We'll see you in a minute. Welcome back. Mike Driggers, Brandon Heinz on Money Talk 105.5 In the Now. And we have got some rocking guests, Kay Redford and Veronica Larrera. They're NLP strategists. They were giving us some gold nuggets when we left before break. Talked about the 3 phases of a decision, a buying decision, and that's starting 1, motivation, 2, decision, and 3, reassurance. And just before we went to break, Veronica was about to lay a path of gold on real estate technique and how to use some of these. So, Veronica, why don't you go ahead and share with our audience what that was?
So as an NLP strategist, how do we show 1 single property to a consumer, a buyer, that has a convincer of 3, which means they have to compare to 2 other things before they make the decision, before they submit the offer. So that's very easy. So the first showing is the first showing. You show the property, they like it. The they still want to see something else, but there's nothing to show in the same neighborhood. What you do is very easy. You schedule a showing number 2 in the middle of the day. So let's say that the first showing happened in the morning. You schedule within the same week another showing, perhaps in the afternoon or even in the evening. Now watch this. Fantastic. I would like you to come back with your family, your children, if they're not present, in the evening. Now, why is this important for you as a buyer? Because we want you to have the experience of the neighborhood when it's in the evening. That way you get to see how peaceful this neighborhood is, or, the type of activity that happens in the evening. That's important for you because, you work in the graveyard, and you want to make sure that, your family is taken care of. There's not too much activity in the street. And then you show it for the second time in the evening. And then the third time is, I would like to invite you to come in. I think we missed a couple of amazing things about the property. I just want you to make sure that you get to see what's inside. Then you bring them back at a different time. And then you highlight another sections of the property that possibly was missed, such as in the backyard. Let's see, there's no pool. And they don't want a pool. So you show the backyard and say, did you guys have this barbecue idea? How many birthdays are coming up? And that's when you go, the sales rep, you go even further. I said, I would like to, give my commitment to the family after the close of escrow. So now this is future pacing the client already with NLP. After the close of escrow, it will be my pleasure to come in and invite all of your family members to a housewarming. What do you think about that? Do a housewarming within the first 30 days after you move. It will be great. So now you're future pacing. You already anchor yourself as the buyer's agent. And not only that, but you already closed in their mind that this is the house.
So yeah, they're already imagining the birthday party and the barbecue and all the family's over and the kids are running around and they see themselves there.
Well, and I think it's also important to address what future pacing is, because most of our audience may not know what that is. So can you address that?
And while Dave Patty is watching us live too, one of our amazing students that's made like $400,000. He's going for $1 million this year. What you just shared, Monica, was a huge breakthrough for him when he studied values and how values tie into motivations of why people buy a house. It's the feeling they get in the backyard with their family. You're not selling them the house, you're selling them the feeling and the experience that they're going to get by being out.
Absolutely.
Now, we talk about future pacing. So how many of us know someone, or we've experienced buyer's remorse, where someone says yes to you, signs a contract, or buys something, or says they're going to commit to something in the sales context, and then a day later they change their mind, right? So they rewind their decision. We call that buyer's remorse. What future pacing is it's guiding the client out into the future when they've not only made the decision, but they're reassured. It goes back to the reassurance strategy. They're reassured that it was the right decision. And so you could sell something and you could say, look, here's this pen, right? So here's this pen. Isn't it an amazing pen, right? What do you like about it? Oh, you like that it's lean, it's sharp, it's slick, it's small, it can fit, anywhere and not bulge your jacket, whatever. And so that's just selling the pen. But future pacing is actually saying, can you imagine, a week from now, tomorrow, you're going to these high-level meetings, and tucked away in your jacket is this amazing pen. When you bring it out and everybody looks at it and goes, wow, this is a really sleek-looking pen. Can you also imagine what it's going to be like as you're writing all the contracts, and this pen is going to become your magical best friend? It's going to be symbolic of your success. It's like that bat. Now I'm going to use a metaphor. Future pacing plus adding a metaphor. It's almost like baseball or football or basketball. When you pick up that home run hitting bat, there's always that bat. Even in tennis, they have their preferred racket. You pick up that bat, and that's the bat that you're going to hit that home run with. And that's what we have right here. This is the pen that's going to mark all the greatest transactions you've ever done in your life.
I got it.
Future pacing with a metaphor.
Absolutely beautiful. So those of you who are joining us and want to look at this, it's krsuccess.com. and they're offering a 2-hour free NLP seminar in Pasadena, California. And you can also go onto their site because they have an upcoming event September 15th and 16th at the Embassy Suites in Brea, California. And what do you guys offer? I see a promo code, Now Radio. What is the offer for our guest?
Well, you guys, Brandon, Mike, you guys are, you're getting this to an amazing group of leaders. We know that the people, we looked at your demographics. A good group of your individuals watching your show are at the 100,000, if not more than 100,000 a year mark. They're entrepreneurs, they're leaders, they're sales professionals. In honor of being on your show, we're going to give your audience 50% off on the tickets to that 2-day event. So let me contrast. There are 2-hour events that are free. We have one in Pasadena, I believe, September 11th. We picked that as a transformation day where we get to change the meaning of September 11th.
Yeah.
And we have one on October 30th. Both are Tuesday nights in Pasadena at the Donald White Auditorium. Those are the 2-hour free seminars to learn more about NLP. However, what Brandon was talking about is the 2-day event. If you want to dive deep and you want to master this stuff, including the 10 steps to getting the yes, including the 6 components of effective communication, you want to take a deeper dive, that event is going to be September 15, 16 in the city of Brea, which, if you don't know where that is, it's 20 minutes east of downtown LA, near the city of Downey. And that 2-day event, we are going to give you a 50% off while tickets remain. So I would definitely contact us ASAP. And the promo code is Now Radio. You call in and you use the promo code Now Radio, all right, then you'll get a 50% off your tickets. And the number to call to register for that event, that 2-day event, it's toll free, 844-787-3657, 844-787-3657, which actually spells out area code 844 PURE NLP on your dialer. PURENLP, 844-787-3657.
Thank you. So we always like to ask this towards the end of our guests is, what's the one question we should have asked you about your product?
What's the one question we should have asked you? Okay, here we go. Because I'm kind of a spiritual guy. Can I go a little spiritual?
Yeah.
Absolutely. This whole station's about that. So
Yeah.
rock it.
Because, I look at sales and I look at it as, what's the whole purpose of NLP? What's really the purpose of why we're here? Is it just to help people increase their closing ratio and make more money, or is there a bigger purpose to it? So what's the bigger purpose? Veronica and I and KR Success Coaching, we have Jeff Stoffel, Dave Patty, Sean Arnold, Jeff McGrail, Maricela Smith. We've got a whole group of individuals. We are really here to transform the planet, and we're here to help people get out of the lack and limitation and fear mindset and learn that there is enough money, resources, love, joy, peace, unity in this planet if we actually just learn to vibrate to that, like learn to get in alignment with it. So when we talk about the purpose of NLP, the purpose of NLP as we use it is not just sales, it's to transform the planet and make the world a better place and help people achieve their freedom. Wealth is not just money, spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, relationships, career, health, fitness, everything.
Outstanding. I've always said NLP just helps you connect with more humans. True connections, true relationships. So today's show has been amazing. I want to thank you guys for being on there. And any of you guys want to look them up, that's krsuccess.com, or you can call the 1-844-PURE-NLP and use the radio promo Now Radio for 50% off their next event. And I guarantee you will learn so much just from scrubbing NLP. You're going to love it.
So we'll see you next week, next Thursday, same time, 10 a.m. Here on Money Talk 105.5 with In the Now, Mike Driggers and Brandon Heinz. And again, thank you.
Guys.
Thank you for a great show. So we'll see you next week. Bye for now.